Hey YouTube, Mario Gonzalez here again with your real estate tips, tricks, information, and education. Do us a favor before we get started, smash that like and subscribe button. It'll help us get more information like this to you. And boy, do we have a great one for you today. It's the 5 most common rental schemes that we're seeing out there that tenants are trying to pull and get past you. And at the end, if you stick around, we'll give you the bonus tip on how to best protect away from this. So without further ado, let's get started and let's get after it. We got a great one here for you today about the rental scams, at least the top 5 that we've been seeing in the area. They're running rampant. If you will, use that comment section as a dialogue with us. Let us know what else you want information on and we'll do our best to get it out there. So let's get this thing started. So number 1, what are we seeing here? We are seeing fake pay stubs at an all-time high. We have never seen anything like this before. So if you just Google fake pay stubs, you will see sponsored ad after sponsored ad after sponsored ad of companies that will generate fake pay stubs for you. This is like mind-blowing to me that people would just like commit this level of fraud. Some of these things at the bottom of them will say, hey, this is for entertainment purposes only. Oh, give me a break. You know, you're paying and you're sending this to an unsuspecting landlord or for a property management company that doesn't have real tight residential like screening things. So you do-it-yourself landlords out there, please be careful out here. I mean, they look legitimate. Someone can say, oh yeah, I worked at Cracker Barrel for $17.95 and it's crazy. It will print out a professional thing. So you really have to have some very slick ways of screening tenants. We actually use some artificial intelligence and use a tenant screening company that has some super high-end artificial intelligence to screen everything. It goes from top to bottom. Is this the proper pay stub? Is that the proper logo? Is it spaced on the page properly? I mean, you name it, it goes pretty heavy. So we're trying to stay ahead of technology as the kind of the criminal element is using technology. But anyway, fake pay stubs is by far the #1 thing that we're seeing right now, and we didn't even see that a couple years ago. So the number two thing that we are seeing being faked, and this has always kind of been there, are fake references. So someone will say, hey, this is my past landlord, just call this person up and yeah, that's my last landlord. Or they're saying, I live with friends and family, rather than telling you where they're coming from. Or they will say, hey, my landlord is selling their home. What they're trying to do is give you reasons not to really search where they are coming from. And this is kind of another kind of ploy of, we'll call them the professional tenants that are out there that are really trying to rate your home, and they're coming on the premise of just not truth. So anyway, you'll see a lot of times they just give you that phone number, you call someone up, and then it's like, oh yeah, they're a great tenant and yada yada yada. You're just talking to their friend. They're sitting around. They're sitting at Starbucks right across the street from them. Right across the table from them, just laughing. Ha, yeah, that's the guy I told you was going to call. So anyway, really need to be searching out there and really cognizant of those fake references and landlords. Number 3, what we're seeing, and this has been around for a while, number 3 we're seeing is the fake service animals. Now, I will tell you this, so here's the pro tip. If you want to minimize the number of fake service animals or ESAs or comfort animals, emotional support animals that you're getting, then allow pets. Allow pets in your rentals. Just put clauses in there to hold, to have some teeth, or use rental deposits or a rental fee for, a pet fee or pet rent. You can do a lot of things to really kind of hedge against that damage that a potential pet may or may not do. But really, if you want to minimize the fake service animals, you just allow pets. Because all honestly, if they want to fake it, they're going to fake it. But most people, believe it or not, will, if they're given the option to bring a pet to a home, they'll pay the pet fee or the small pet rent, that type of thing, pet deposit, and they'll actually come in there. So we're not seeing as many fake things other than dogs or cats, but those are primarily the biggest ones that we do see faked. So it's not like they're faking exotic animals or anything like that, but it's normally your dogs and your cats that they're seeing, and oftentimes it's multiple of them. Hey, I've got 3 Rottweilers and they're all emotional support dogs, so we know that's fake. So that's number 3. Let's talk about number 4. So number 4 things that we're seeing faked right now are identifications. This has kind of always been around there, but we probably caught a dozen last year. And what folks are doing right now, someone just sent me an article the other day that said, hey, there's another website that'll basically digitize you a driver's license from anywhere in any state of the 50 United States for about 20 bucks. I mean, that's crazy. But the good thing is I mean, if you're a property manager or you're doing the proper screening and you get a front and a back copy of that, you can have artificial intelligence scan that to make sure there's been no alterations or it's not fully digitally made. You can also have artificial intelligence do, for instance, the tenant screening company that we use, you have to take 3 selfies, and then that also uses facial recognition to then match to what's on the ID to say, is that really truly the person that's on the ID? And then obviously the artificial intelligence screens that. So fake IDs, I mean, most people have a driver's license, especially if they're driving around and they're working. So really, you know, stick those antenna up if you start seeing people using passports or state IDs to rent a home. Those are just easier ways to kind of get a fake ID. So number 5 here, and this is the one we really wanted to talk about, subletting. So subletting, what do I mean by that? That is every single YouTube video or TikTok video that you see out there where folks are saying, hey, here's how you get rich in real estate and you don't have to own real estate. Yes, it's called illegally subletting a home. What does that mean? A tenant rents your house and you think tenant Sally Smith is living in the house, but tenant Sally Smith is not living in the house. She by herself rented a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house, and it is Party USA in there. She's putting it on Airbnb. She's putting it on Furnish Finder. She's putting it on VRBO, on all the little, you know, all the other sites that are out there, and she is renting this home out. It's called subletting. Now, some people are okay with subletting, and you can have that in your lease, whether you allow it or don't allow it. But really, what you want to do is really think about, is this something that I want done in my house? And if not, you want to have the paperwork that safeguards against that. You also want to have kind of the tenant screening, kind of what we were talked about through all of this, if you will, that will really look at a tenant and look at their background. Where are they coming before? What circumstances do they rent under? Were they good tenants wherever they were coming from before? Because you'll start seeing a pattern, especially a lot of people will fake these other pay stubs and fake backgrounds if they have something less than stellar to do with your house. It's not common to find someone who's being evicted, you know, that's doing the subletting thing, that's being evicted from, you know, a half dozen homes in your county or in your, you know, in your city, because they're doing this at a mass level because, oh yeah, they saw it on YouTube and it seemed like a good idea to, you know, get rich with someone else's house. So we hope this information helps with the top 5 there. Now, I will say this as a last point. Literally, the tenant selection process and the paperwork that holds them accountable is where 99% of the do-it-yourself landlords or small investors go wrong. So a good certified property management company is worth their weight in gold. I put up here on the screen NARPM. It stands for the National Association of Residential Property Managers. There's the 3 certifications that a property manager can earn, and each one is kind of higher, if you will. The last one, CRMC, actually is for a company, but the other 2 are for individual property managers. And if you get someone with any of those designations behind their name, then odds are your home is going to be in great shape. You're going to do your best to screen these tenants, protect yourself against these 5 scams here, and hopefully be off to, you know, creating that generational wealth and taking great care of your home. So we hope this information helps. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please use that comment section to let us know what else we can get you out there. And as always, we look forward to helping you, and you're welcome.